Thank you for watching this short video. And if you don't know who I am by now, then God bless you. Yes, it's Brother Sean, also known as Father Ted to his friends. A more serious mindset now. Who are the instigators of war? Who do you think is behind all the rumors of war, all the wars we've had, and the possibility of a third world war in the Middle East? What do you think? What do you feel in your heart? Because it's important to discern what you feel, what you think, because that is as important as what I'm going to share with you. Well, I remember as a young nursing monk back in Northern Ireland when I was stationed in Warren Point. I had just been ordained a nursing monk, and after my first 2 weeks holiday with my family, after 3 years of being trained as a monk in a contemplative community, I was sent to our first house, which was in Warren Point, County Down, beautifully situated. The monastery was a psychiatric hospital and a small monastery of about 28 monks. And as you came down the sweeping driveway, you came with the Carlingford Mountains on your right and the Mourne Mountains on your left, and there was a loch that led you into the open Irish Sea. It was beautiful, but it wasn't a happy place to be, because as a Catholic community, we were targeted by the IRA big time, because in our constitution, we had a duty of care to all God's children, and that meant that we cared for Catholic and non-Catholic. And we had a large proportion of non-Catholic patients and staff. And I guess we were interfaith, without actually saying we are interfaith. We showed it, we demonstrated it in how we cared for one another, the vulnerable, the marginalized, those affected by mental illness, the burnt-out schizophrenics they were called, who couldn't think for themselves, feed or dress themselves. And as a young monk, we had to put in an 18-hour day, 7 days a week, with 3 hours off, 1 afternoon a month, and given £3 to treat ourselves to a cup of tea and a bit of cake in the nearby village. But the IRA targeted us at least 4 or 5 times a month. And with having had a lot of patients on a section, I think there was 180, maybe 240 residents. And we had to vacate the hospital, get everybody out when there was a bomb scare. It was a nightmare. And then, of course, we had the timber yard in Newry, a huge flame, an inferno that went on for weeks. What was behind that? Well, people blamed it on religion. Oh, it's the Catholics and the Protestants again. And yes, within the Catholic fraternity, we had Bernadette Devlin getting up the power of resistance to the Protestants and fueling the agenda with her own vitriolic abuse. And then, of course, we had the unreformed Ian Paisley, who as a younger man was quite vitriolic too, and you'll not be this and you'll not be that. And it was like two opposing factions of hate coming together to ignite. And as a young monk, I used to blame it on religion. But now, as I've matured, I hope, I can see it as being something much bigger than religion. There was a presence behind that. And I've come to realize it was the presence of evil. It was the power of Satan, the Antichrist, who stirred up feelings of utter revulsion and hate in the hearts of God's children, where you had men and women who went to church on Sunday, Catholic, Protestant, and then come out and kill one another. So I'm thinking, how can they say they love God and love their neighbour as their self? I could never ever fathom out why men and women could come to God and receive the Eucharist and then blatantly kill another, as if they were a piece of meat, and leave them for dead. And it's the same with the wars in Afghanistan, with the Taliban and the American and European forces. It's the same in Israel and Palestine. It's the same in Syria, Libya, the whole Mediterranean belt, in Africa, the Horn of Africa, India, between Hindu and Sikh, Jew and Palestinian, Shiite Muslim against Sunni Muslim. They're all children of God, but they hate one another. Why? Because I believe the father of lies, the Antichrist, and I will pay the price for sharing this on a live video today, trust me. Because when you speak truth as one in service to God, the floodgates of hell open, and I'm not afraid, because in my heart is the I Am Presence who protects me. But I truly believe the instigators of war are not the people. It is a powerful presence. It has many personas, and it speaks in many tongues. But the language, the medium through which it uses to convey its thought process to our mindset is that of fear and a lack of forgiveness. And I believe that in our head center, our ego, it has become the seedbed for the Antichrist to implant thoughts that are anti-God, anti-Christian, anti-Muslim, anti-Jew, anti-Sikh, anti-Hindu, anti-heterosexual, anti-gay, anti-disabled. But in terms of war, the instigators that I believe are responsible for so much degradation and man's inhumanity to man is the evil one, the Antichrist. And if you choose not to believe that, I bless you. If you choose to believe it, I congratulate you. And if you're not sure, and you're sat on the bar, not knowing yea or nay, then I would like you to pray with me now and say, Father, Mother God, in the midst of all your beautiful creation and children, where are you when we need you? And the answer is, I am there with you. And if we ask, who is responsible for man's inhumanity to man, for the desecration of the temple of love, the temple of God within each heart and soul, who is it, God? The father of lies, the deceiver. And until we take responsibility for that truth, then we'll carry on playing games. But if the Palestinians and Israelis, for example, were to stop and remind themselves that they are a child of God, and that what they give out, they get back, and if they're in a mindset of tit for tat, would they kill 2 of our soldiers? Well, let's kill 3 of theirs. But you think of the human cost, like in Syria now. The world seems powerless because Russia and China have their point of view. Are they being a people of integrity? Or are they just thinking of their investments? I don't know. But I truly am concerned that today we have a generation that's fed a mindset of fear. And that mindset of fear has alienated the children of God from their heart. And many are paralyzed through fear. I know in Ireland there are still a generation of people, God's children, who find it very hard to forgive what the opposing enemy did to them and their family. But unless we forgive, we won't be forgiven ourselves. And there's no use me saying to you, oh, I forgive, but I'll never forget. I've not been forgiven. Because forgiveness and forgetfulness go hand in hand, like a hand in a glove. So today it is my belief, to sum up, the instigators behind war and atrocities to humankind is not from God. It is the evil one, the Antichrist, who is stirring up real hatred in the mind of every child of God who buys into that theory and who reenacts their hate. Let us pray for peace. And as a Franciscan who embraces all faiths, our sole purpose of being members of the Teo community of St. Francis is to be an ambassador of peace and to be all-embracing, all-encompassing, and to be a people set apart to embrace all faiths and none. Bless you.